Welcome today to Making a Difference. My name is Todd Morgan, and we have a very special guest today, Jonathan Weedman. Jonathan has a great job. Jonathan is at Wells Fargo and runs their foundation for Southern California and Arizona, and he gives away, get this, $25 million a year. Many of us would like that job. What a fun job. Jonathan, my first question is, what experience or experiences in your life led you to get this job, and why do you like it so much?
Well, thank you, Todd, and it's a pleasure to be with you today. And it's an interesting question. What led me to this work that I have? I was a banker at Wells Fargo for many years in the business banking division. And while I was in the business banking division, I decided to start calling on nonprofit organizations to be customers of the bank. Social service agencies, schools, healthcare organizations. And I developed a fairly substantial portfolio of nonprofit organizations as my customers. And in 1996, at the time of the First Interstate merger, the president of the Wells Fargo Foundation asked me to come work for him. And it was the greatest job you could possibly imagine. And the best part of the job for me is that every day I get to work with men and women who have chosen with their lives to do something to help other people, who work in hospitals, who work at schools, social service agencies, in job training organizations, so many different organizations, but people who every day get up and want to help other people. And that's the best part of the job.
That's terrific. So what did you, in your, prior to taking that responsibility, anyone in your life, mentor, family member, active in charitable activities that?
I think it's fair to say I come from a fairly activist family. My family was always very involved in volunteering. When I was a kid, we always worked at the local charity to help out my mother. She was involved with a number of them. My grandfather was an elected official in California. There were a lot of things going on around that as well when I was a kid. And so civic engagement, involvement, volunteerism, giving back was very much a part of my growing up. I was a Boy Scout, lots of volunteer programs, things like that.
Do you give to the Boy Scouts?
Do we support the Boy Scouts? We support their Learning for Life program.
So tell me some of the organizations that you are significantly involved with and you like, that have your eye.
Well,
and why?
Well, for me personally, I'd have to first list the Los Angeles Philharmonic, where I serve on the board of directors. I'm a very proud member of the board. I didn't want to be a banker, Todd. It wasn't my first choice for a profession. I actually studied for many years to be a concert pianist, studied very seriously.
Wow.
And I think I remain a competent amateur, but not good enough for the concert stage, without question. So I stayed close to music, I stayed close to the arts. I think that funding arts organizations, whether it's the theater, whether it's music, whether it's dance, visual arts, theater, is so important, in particular these days, because arts education is not in our schools. Our young people are not being exposed to the arts the way we were when we were kids. When we were growing up, you go to school, you could take all kinds of classes in the arts. There's very little these days, and so that's certainly an important thing for me personally in terms of where Wells Fargo supports organizations with its contributions.
Okay, so the LA Philharmonic. Mm-hmm. Give me a couple of other names that you have a passion for.
Well, when I think about organizations here in Los Angeles that are doing what I think is extraordinary work, I think of Jewish Vocational Services and my good friend Vivian Siegel and their BankWorks training program that they have, which we are a founding partner of. Substantial support for that program every year. Takes people who've been out of work or who need a job and gives them great professional training to go into the banking profession. Meaningful jobs, good paying jobs, and that's an organization doing incredible work. Certainly, I think about the organizations that are helping people right now recover who've been affected by this economic disaster. The job training programs, the organizations that help people achieve the dream of home ownership is very, very important right now. We actually at Wells Fargo have launched a program we're calling Neighborhood Lift, where this year we are committing over $150 million in 10 cities around the United States for down payment assistance for first-time home buyers, first-time low-income home buyers, to help them get into their homes. And we will give somebody up to $30,000 in down payment assistance. That's typically the biggest obstacle to home ownership is the down payment.
And qualifying.
So we're working very closely with folks to try and get them in houses.
So should these people call you? You want to give them your home number or your cell number?
I'd be more than happy to give them my cell phone number.
Who should our viewers call if they're interested in finding out more about that?
I would actually contact your local Wells Fargo office in the community where you are.
Right.
This is pretty well known around the company. And certainly if someone needs some help, they can always get to me, Jonathan Weedman, weedmanj@wellsfargo.com. We all answer our own phone, and we're there to help.
In downtown Los Angeles.
Downtown Los Angeles. We'll put you in touch with the right folks.
More Making a Difference after this.
Covered a couple different charities that you feel some passion to. Can you give me a couple of others that you think are really important at this time in the economic environment?
Well, it's very interesting. A lot of the economy has caused this economic downturn hasn't just affected the clients and the customers, the people who utilize the services of these charitable institutions. It's affected the providers themselves. I don't know anybody who hasn't experienced some degree of loss or of problems with this economic downturn, regardless of your net worth. Everybody's tasted the whip. And it's the organizations, the food banks, which have done Los Angeles Regional Food Bank, which does an amazing job. Or you look at the Sova Food Pantry of Jewish Family Services, which is helping tens of thousands of people in Los Angeles. Yeah,
have you visited?
Yes, it's remarkable work.
Remarkable. And you contribute there too?
Oh yes, substantially, absolutely, to Jewish Family Services. We support organizations like the Saban Free Clinic that is providing health care for folks right now. People who were donors to the clinic 2 years ago are now their clients because they've lost their jobs, they've lost their health care.
Wow.
So the organizations that are really stepping up and providing those vital services are the ones that I think are particularly meaningful to me right now.
So how many organizations do you give money to?
Oh gosh, it's thousands.
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 And you look into every single one of them.
Well, not every single one of them.
But you have to approve every one.
Our approval process is unique at Wells Fargo. People say, how do we get approved for a donation? And I believe, the leadership of the company believes that the best decisions around philanthropy, about where to invest our money, are not made up in headquarters, are not made in some big tall office building, but made by the local leadership of our company in those communities. So if I get a request from a store manager or from one of the district managers or one of the commercial loan officers in whether it's in the Valley or whether it's in downtown or whether it's in South Bay, and they say there's a really great organization in our community that's doing work and we want to support them, that's where we go to look for our giving. I'm very proud that Wells Fargo just recently was named by the Chronicle of Philanthropy as the 5th largest corporate donor to nonprofits in America. Last year we donated over $213 million to some 8,000 or 9,000 charities in the United States. And just a couple of weeks ago, the Los Angeles Business Journal ranked Wells Fargo in Los Angeles as the largest corporate donor where last year we donated over $22 million to nonprofits in this community. And we've done that year after year after year. We'll continue doing.
You're going to get a lot of calls from our viewers, your regional storefronts to ask for assistance now.
And that's where we find out. That's how we find out about good things. The philosophy of Wells Fargo, and this is why I'm so proud to work for the company, the numbers don't lie. As a corporation, we have an unmatched reputation around our volunteerism, around our community investment, around our giving back. If a community is strong and healthy, and if people have jobs, and they have good health care, and they got a nice place to live, and they got something fun to do on the weekends, they have some quality of life. That's only going to help business. And so our belief is that if we invest in underserved communities, if we invest in communities that need help, and improve the human condition, that's only going to help our business.
Of course.
And look at where we are at as a company.
Right.
We're strong. 1 in 500 Americans is employed by Wells Fargo. It's a great company, great career path, great opportunity, and a company that really cares about its community. And candidly, Todd, I wish there were more corporations in America who felt the same way and acted the same way.
Well, I've been a shareholder of your company for a long time, and
Thank
a customer.
You.
So let me ask you one other question. What would you tell our young viewers, the reason to get involved in philanthropy? How does it make you feel? What is your recommendation to them?
You know, Dr. Martin Luther King said that a man has not started living until he rises above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity. Life's most persistent, urgent question is, what are you doing for others?
Right.
And a number of years ago, it was one of the anniversaries of the 9/11 tragedy. 60 Minutes did a piece, and they followed a group of children who'd gone down to South America to do volunteer work, and all these kids had lost parents in the disasters. And it was very poignant to see these children who had suffered this unimaginable tragedy in a third world country, in a poor community, helping. And they interviewed one of the young girls, and who was their young woman, and they said, "What did you learn from this?" And what she said struck me profoundly. She said, "The greatest gift you can give yourself is the gift of giving to others."
True.
And so what I tell young people is that if you really want to do something nice for yourself, and you want to feel it in your core, go do something nice for someone else. Go do something to help somebody else.
Right.
There's nothing you can do for yourself that'll actually, in the end, make you feel better. Because giving back and helping other people is what, it sounds a little corny, it sounds a little Pollyanna, it sounds a little, you know, but it really is what it's all about.
I agree.
And again, that is the culture, that is the belief that really guides our company. If you want to work for Wells Fargo, you have to give back. It's expected of you. Mm-hmm. You know, if you want to own the market, you got to own the community. There's some responsibility there.
I like it, and I thank you for all you have done for our community.
Thank you.
And you must feel pretty good about yourself for the job you have, because the way you described about taking care of yourself. So I thank you for all the great things you do for the needy and the arts in our community.
Thank you, Tom.
And I thank you for coming here today.
Well, it's a pleasure, and look forward to seeing you again soon.
And thank you for making a difference.
Making a Difference will return right after this.